So we are actually early today here, subscribers and all the audiences, and I'm so happy, to host this sessions. I know I say this at every session, but it's because we bring really, really inspiring people to the platform so that you all can have so much of wisdom on doing things right, especially in related to mental health. And today we have with us Mrs. Vidya Shankar. She's the founder of Cascade Leaf Foundation. And before getting into the topic, I really wanted to talk a little bit about her. She was a juvenile inspector and she quit the job to open this foundation. The story behind it actually inspired me. I read the story in the Hindu article where they went ahead to describe her inspiring action in building this foundation for kids. She realized that an earlyhood education is more important than anything else. And she believed that only the shaping the mental health of the kids will actually shape even the future of the economy. And by that way, a country can actually develop. And I think, she's solving the problem from the root cause. So thank you so much today for joining with us, ma'am. It's been pleasure having you here. And I'm so thrilled that you're going to be talking about on the topic parent-child bond, the powerful mental health intervention that we can have. So a little bit about yourself, ma'am, then we will dive straight away into the topic.
Okay. So I can just start by saying that children are my greatest teachers. They have shown me how they would like to learn, how they would like to live, and they've taught me how to see life in a way that you live in the moment. So they are great little philosophers if we look at them that way with reverence and respect. They also radiate that when you shower respect and admiration for them. So all through, be it my life with children in care homes, in juvenile settings, or in rural areas, or in urban families, all through the children have such great potential that either we use it or they put it to disuse in a wrong way. So that is something that we all have to rise up to. And people say you must go down to the level of the child. I'll say no, you have to rise up to the level of the child, because the child is just a product of nature and comes unblemished. So only the growing in an adult environment does the blemishes happen. So I have, had the great fortune of working with children, and they have really shaped my life, I will say, and they have made me find my purpose. And today I'm here, in front of all of you because of the thousands of children I have, who have, gone through the work that I have done, and whose destinies, by God's grace, I have been able to rewrite. So that is about me.
Nice to hear that, ma'am. Actually, I love the word when you said uh, rise up to the children level. So I'm hearing something like that for the first time. This is why I said she's very inspiring, right? Okay, so I don't want to keep anybody waited. We will see this kick-ass presentation that she has, all the secret tips and tricks she has in that hidden. Now it's going to be unveiled to everyone today. So all the stage is yours, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So I have a short presentation. I'll be happy to, field questions and possibly, try to answer as much as possible, because as growing up as parents, we didn't have this, source of abundant information on how to bring up children at every developmental stage, what it is. So what are the needs that as human children, what do they have? So these things have somehow, as a species, we seem to have lost it. And we seem to be driving ourselves up a wall and leaving these great humans behind. So this is my clarion call that, they are your future. They have their future. So it is important for us to invest now so that we all have a better future. So I would like to share I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, ma'am. The screen is visible. The screen is visible.
Thank you. And yeah, so Okay, so the first 3 years of the child's life, I have the great fortune of being trained in the Montessori way of education and life. So Dr. Montessori says children under 3 have an unconscious absorbent mind. Now, it's a very powerful word. So the most important period it is in terms of their development, 85% of their brain is formed by the age 3. And these earliest years lay the foundation for all future learning and character as well. So we can say that we need to concentrate on this age so much that the future of the country, in fact, of the world will change. Children develop their sense of self and their sense of their place in the world because they already are looking up to the adults around, to their culture, to the society at different stages. And what are they seeing in this first 3 years of life will shape the way that they have, their plans are towards the future. So what do they need? If you say in a nutshell, so I will give the nutshell first and then I'll go into the details. So the first thing that we need to know is treating children as individuals, not just thinking that the child is born to me, so it's mine, I can do whatever I want. No, it is not like that. This child is born because of her own journey, spiritual journey, and you have as parents a role in the child's life to bring this child life in this world, but not own it or not oppress it. So this child is worthy of respect, meeting their needs in a loving way. We have to, think through the child as a separate individual who's come into this world with his or her own cosmic purpose. So they feel secure enough to explore their world as independent beings. So we need to raise children in a natural manner from a gentle birth to using non-toxic products at home. So these are the few things which will summarize overall what these children need. But let me go into some more detail. Let me start with this topic of feeding. When a child enters this world, now I have to talk even about birthing, before birthing. So how much have you bonded with the child? Many mothers and fathers don't understand that the bonding actually happens in vitro. And this child is already having several reference points like the voice of the mother, the heartbeat of the mother, the feelings of the mother, the secretions of the mother, and the voice of the father. Many, many, many reference points this child is picking up even in vitro. So how much are we doing to make that possible? So from there, the whole thing starts. And then what about birthing? So the stress we carry in our body is something that actually makes or challenges the birthing process itself. So we have to understand that right from the time of conception to the time of delivery, the mind state of both the parents are crucial. How much you have bonded with the child, how much you are having a stress-free life, and how much you love each other and are compassionate towards each other and to this little being who is growing up within you. So while the mother is actually physically carrying the baby, the father must carry the child in his heart. So every minute he must bond with the child. So that is so important. Now I will talk about the child when he or she comes into this world. The child wants to be an independent being, but is not yet ready. So there is so much that the parent needs to do for this child. And that's why this child is called a spiritual embryo. So if you look at the breastfeeding, which is the most crucial aspect of the bonding, today's parents are, so not aware of what it means to breastfeed this child for several months. And the weaning has to be a natural process. And there is no need to worry about, what the body is undergoing, and then, so the stress and tension is also has to be, taken into account when you're feeding the child. So sometimes it will be that the child is not feeding enough, or that you are not lactating enough, but still you must hold on with this great hope, because it is a bodily function. And the consciousness to understand that you are the only source of this child's nutrition will bring in a certain, what do you call, state of mind, which will allow the brain to function and the body nervous system to function in a way that adequate milk is provided for this child. So do not substitute the child's feeding with anything else. You have to stay on. You must understand the reasons for feeding. So that is the first stage of feeding. And when you're feeding, how do you feed? Do you look at the child in the eyes, talk to the child and smile and see the way the child is relating to you? The food is, it's not just about the feeding. It is about bonding. So the child will expect you to look at her in her eyes, look at him in his eyes. Whereas today's parents, in a few places where I visited, the child is feeding on one side and the mother is sitting and using the mobile. It is of no use. This child is not actually getting the feed, the nutrition that the child wants, because there are several components to this food itself. So there is love. When you are in connection with the child, the juices are different. When you're disconnected from the child, the constitution of the breast milk is different. So please understand that there are several consciousness levels for you to attach with the child, to have a bonding with the child. Now I'll quickly go on to the next one, which is toilet learning. We do not call toilet training. So there's no need to train the child. The child is already coming with a certain body consciousness. The point is the parents have to spend time to adequately provide the environment for the child, where the child will be able to have a sense of function of the body, and the child feels the need or the urge to go to and use the toilet. So right from birth, this child, you can see the child wanting to, you can see from the body movements itself. Right from day one, you'll be able to see that where the child is, when the child wants to either urinate or wants to defecate, you will be able to definitely see. If you are not noticing, please start noticing. So it is very important for you to know. The second thing is language. Language is such a key important part in the bonding and in the attachment process. So from birth, the infants are absorbing the language, and how we communicate has a real impact. So you make eye contact, this child watches your mouth movements, your throat movements, your cheeks, your lips. So all this, the child is watching and is absorbing the language. So how we communicate is the three-dimensional aspect of it. These children pick up for them to have language development. It will never ever, underline, never ever come if the child is watching a YouTube channel and you put some music and then you feed the child. Sorry, these children have all stunted language, and I am seeing it now. For the last 30 years, I'm working with children. Believe me, the biggest stunting that has happened and is the language stumping, as well as the media related autism, which is emerging in children alarmingly by watching this screens, any screen. There is addiction, and weaning away is a huge issue. There is mild to profound autism, which is happening. So you have to talk to the baby each time. Tell the baby what you're doing. You ask for permission. Can I clean you? Can I feed you now? Even if we think that the child doesn't understand, please believe me, the child is absorbing every minute, every second of what you're saying. So use real words and that are rich in details. So that is very important. I think there is the audio. Somebody's not muted. Yeah, so.
We are all muted, ma'am. I have
Okay.
muted everyone, not a problem. Ma'am, I just have a small doubt since we broke here. There is a question in our platform right now, which is
Yes.
in regards to the topic that you were asking. So the question is exactly from, okay, she's a working mom, and She has a kid of 5 year and a 9 month old. And her kid is actually not speaking clear now. I mean, as in the languages has not developed properly for that record age of, 5 year kid. I mean, it's almost 6 years kid. So the ability to concentrate on reading or writing is also not being developed properly. Is this something related to what you were right now explaining, ma'am? I mean, in regards to, like communicating with them and
Yes,
avoiding the usage of the electronic devices
exactly.
while they are eating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is much to do with how so the environment must be language rich. There must be adults and other people talking to the child live. It cannot be two-dimensional. The child will never be able to catch the sounds right if the child is not so. And we are, as a species, we are auditory learners. So we have to have this three-dimensional view of this mouth, this place, the movement of this place and the cheeks for the child to pick up language. If it is not happening, it is only because of that. So there is definitely a loss of, learning opportunity if it is outsourced to somebody who is put on the screen and is just occupying the child's time. So that's something that people need to know.
Okay, ma'am. We'll go on. We'll go on,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So the next is on movement. I'll say that the first year of life, the child is learning to move and control their body. And it is one of the baby's most important jobs to stabilize the body movements in terms of refining both gross motor as well as fine motor movements. Gross motor is the whole body movement. They want to stabilize. So, but then, yeah, so it's very important for you. I'll be coming to that. They are naturally driven to gain these new skills, to bring the hand to the mouth, to lift their head and to roll over. So this is all natural. It should not be done artificially. And all we really have to do is to get out of their way and just allow them to do it. Another very important part of the movement is no devices like swings or bouncy seats for the babies. Does not help. The worst ever thing is putting them in a walker. Walkers should be banned. It should not come into any household. These children have to get themselves to climb up and walk. Same thing. Do not do a lot of things before the child. Yeah, as I'll come to that. Then we go to the Montessori toys for babies are simple, made from natural materials, and they are non-electronic. And they are made out of wood or clay or, cloth. It is not made from any plastic. So we have to look out for opportunities where there's gross motor development, because within the household, if there are too many furniture, strewn all around, it's very difficult for the child to move. So no propping babies up in positions that they can't yet reach on their own, such as sitting or standing. You should never do it. So this gives them a whole great sense of confidence when they do it on their own. Even when they turn this side, they will cry to be put back in this position. But when they turn this side, they'll keep crying. They'll slowly try. So you can give them some minimal things that is actually obstructing them. Maybe a cloth or maybe, some kind of a pillow which is preventing them. You can remove that. Their job is to turn back. So you must understand that every step is, the child is following a scientific growth pattern. Please do not hinder it. That is all. So give them lots of free time on the floor to work on their growing skills, support independent play. So let them just be using their things to play independently in the floor area where they are. We must also think that these children are, wanting to have an inner character development that does not need policing. They have an intrinsic motivation for self-discipline. So the part of the brain that is responsible for exerting control over the emotional, impulsive part of the brain is not well developed in children under 3. That's why you will see toddlers are more likely to act on their impulses and their, desires very impulsively. So very important to show rather than tell. So many times people think that if you keep on talking, the children will develop language. The child will just close the ears. They want to listen to minimal instructions. They want to see how it is being done. So very important for us to know this science that the child at below 3 has to be shown rather than told. So play games that require impulse control. It's very important. You can contact me if you'd like to know names of these games where you can give these children a lot of opportunity to hold on to their impulse. And it is a great, wonderful way that they respond to it. Make a plan for how to help your child cope with experiences that are especially hard for your child. Transitions and crowds and things like that when the child is not ready. So it is very important for us to know that these children don't easily adapt to this kind of changes in the environment and they get upset because of that. So set appropriate limits with natural consequences and stick to it. See, this is why we are very clear that the primary caregiver, both the parents must have a clear set of guidelines on how they are going to bring up their child and follow through it consistently. It is not rigidity, but the child likes to see the natural consequences, likes to see the boundaries and limits for the child to grow up. You can actually say no, and it is not wrong. I have seen many families, they don't know when to say no. And this gives too much room for the child to get confused and thereby manipulate. And then it is very difficult to take it back. So there is a trainer who is Dr. Sylvia Dubovoy. So she says when there is a issuance of freedom to children even below 3, it is very difficult to take back that freedom. So you have to unroll the freedom based on how much the child can handle. It is a big science. You cannot outsource it. Because once you give that freedom, the human brain will not accept when you take it back. And there'll be a lot of struggle. So this is the reason for several toddlers screaming at the top of their voice because they have already experienced some level of freedom with somebody else. And they'll get confused. Why my parents are not giving that freedom? So that is something very important to stay consistent. Self-assess your own inner climate periodically. So what are you undergoing at this point in time? If there is stress, the child will sense it. If there is inner joy, the child will sense it. So you must understand that these children have such a great amount of antennae and radars working on themselves that they can pick up anything that's in the air and they'll absorb it. So please be conscious and aware that these are great humans who have just come into the earth and they have such great powers which is not visible. Next, let's go to communication. So how do we communicate with our children? Do not demand, do this, do that. As I said earlier, we must show rather than tell. So it's good to just remind. Even for a 3-year-old, if the child is not put back something, please ensure that you don't put it back. You call the child and show, can we put this back together? When you make that patience, when you give that kind of time, it gives a powerful message to the child. The child is able to understand that from point A to point B is my responsibility. So there is no point in saying much later that, he doesn't, he just throws his bag, he just throws his thing. It's all come from early stages of, understanding what the expectations are and habit formation. And that is completely to do with bonding for the child, because later on, this, when the parent becomes a nagging parent, because these things haven't happened. So the importance is to understand how to communicate and how to set the the framework for your parenting. So acknowledge effort and the actions specifically. Good job, don't say that. So you have to talk specifically. How did you like doing that? Oh, I see you spent a lot of time. So you please use mother tongue. That's another very important thing. Communication is only in the mother tongue, cannot be in English. So please understand, children below 3, they will pick up about at least 7 languages, but the primary language must be the one that they listen to when they were in the womb. And that the best is the mother tongue, because that gives them the scope of expanded thought. and they will be able to express themselves and hear many sounds, because the Indian languages have far more sounds than the Western languages. So they will be able to hear fine, minute sounds only if they are talking and communicating and thinking in the mother tongue. They will quickly expand to the other languages. So there is, anyway, the school is there, there will be immersion in English, but at home, heart to heart communication, it's the mother tongue. Tell your child what they can do rather than what they cannot do, what they are not doing, what they will not do. Please use that respectful language. Replace yes or no questions with a choice. Importance of decision making and will development happens much below 3 years. So at 3 years, the will is already developed for this child. Quite an amount of will. So if you see a way of bonding, it is when you give choices, the parent, gets a way ahead in parenting than many other families who do not know these secrets. So positive reinforcement, whenever the child is doing, don't keep, what do you call, praising the child each time. It doesn't need gifts. It doesn't need praises. So there's actually a book by Alfie Kohn called Punishment by Rewards. When you reward a child, it's actually a punishment. It doesn't work well. So you really have to know how to do positive reinforcement without giving gifts, without giving stars, without empty, flippant comments which just don't actually give the child any message, rather sets off a kind of false expectation. So use real and specific language. So I think I've come to the end of my presentation and I'd like to stop sharing. I'm happy to take questions.
I really like how everything is, connected with our day-to-day routine. We usually overlook these kinds of things, no, ma'am. I mean, like when we eat, sometimes we don't pay attention to others around us.
Yes.
Since I'm not a mother, I don't know this exactly, but I could actually sense it, something which happens very common in our house. We don't sit together anymore as a family, and that's getting really reduced at many places. So a very small change in our routine is going to make such a huge impact. It's
Absolutely.
really, it's really, I mean, like we are overlooking such a small thing, which could be so much impactful. We don't have to
Yes.
spend money to make these changes also.
Nothing. In fact, spend less, spend nothing. So,
Yes.
you can live a minimal life and this child will be a great human being.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay, so I have some couple of questions for you, ma'am. So there is another working mom, and she's currently working from home. So she's asking that she has two kids. One kid is 2.5 years, and the second one is 2 months.
Okay.
And she doesn't have a clue, how to handle both of them, since they both are like only 5 months years are apart. So, and it's creating a lot of tension for her in taking care as in the baby, and also like coordinating and bringing them together.
Okay, so it's not an easy thing. I've, full sympathy for you. And I think the first thing to do is to get a support system with people who are conscious of child development. You must have an able supporting partner and also know the needs of a 2-month-old baby as well as a 2.5-year-old child. So get to know the needs. So parent education is something that which is very importantly we do with our families to know that you cannot take children growing up as granted.
Yeah,
So that is something that you educate yourself. There is a lot of resources available. You can approach me as well. You can get in touch with
right, ma'am.
they will definitely direct you to me. I'll be happy to definitely support and see that you are empowered to understand what your role is as a parent.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am, that's actually really helpful. Get a support system. That's really cool advice. So next we have okay. How do you okay, this is a very common I'm actually seeing in this question section. They're all asking, how do I make my kid to obey to my instructions?
So for children below 3, they are not reasoning. They do not have a reasoning mind. So they need to actually see what needs to be done. So I said show rather than tell. So you have to show. You cannot keep talking. When you keep talking, their response will be very less because below 6 years, children cannot be taught. Cannot be taught anything. So it is only showing, exploration, sensorial learning, and demonstration and absorption. So this is what is their life. So if you have no idea about it, please learn. Because if you keep talking and expecting them to obey you, sorry, they have their own world and they are trying to construct themselves in it. So
Okay, so okay, this is also interesting. Ma'am, you were explaining, kids using electronic devices, especially during dinner times and major of other times also. So there is a question which is, asking them similar to electronic devices. If there is like, a lot of involvement of watching TV or watching YouTube or, addicted to playing games in the mobile for a long time, how do we, like slowly bring them back to, I mean, like remove that from their day-to-day routine if a kid is already into that space?
right. So the children naturally they don't go to the television. Believe me, they don't get drawn because they are bored and there's nothing else to do. So it requires an intelligent mind and a time and an aware and conscious adult. So intelligent mind and time of an aware and conscious adult willing to spend time with the child and understand what is the developmental need, what is the tendency of the child at different stages. You see that the child dumps the television. The child does not want anything to do with television because this child, see, human, how long is a television? I think about 55, 70, okay, maximum 50, 60 years old. That's all. Now, in 75, I think 75 only we saw television come to at least Tamil Nadu. I don't think there was television before that. So when
Yeah.
that is able to do its job, it's an inanimate thing. Why is it that humans who are much more intelligent than these idiot boxes, why can't we do our job? So we have to completely isolate this child's interest to nature, to doing practical work around. You give a broom, the child will sweep the house 10 times. And we think that it is not a learning job. The child learns at least 15 things when the child sweeps. So there is wrist movement, okay, and there is elbow movement, there is holding, there is focus and concentration of bringing the dust together. There is gathering the dust. There is putting the dust in a particular place. So there is sequencing, there is calculation, there is computer development, there is movement. So there are so many sciences involved in just sweeping. Imagine in cooking, imagine in salad making, imagine in wiping, ordering. So many things around us which we think are not the places for the child to learn. We discount these learning opportunities. So that has to be focused on, and the children will dump the television. You make the child come and help you in the kitchen. That's it. Nothing more is important for this child.
Correct, correct, ma'am, correct. Okay, so this will be the last question, and then we will wrap it up. So there's okay. She is also a working mom right now. She's in work from home. Okay, so she's saying that she couldn't control her anger towards her daughter, and it's because her daughter is not focused towards the academics, and her daughter is like almost 9 years old. So she's feeling bad about herself for not able to control her anger towards her daughter for this, and it's disrupting the bond between them.
Yes, so the point is to understand what are your trigger points. It is not the child, it is something else. So find out what the trigger points are and then try to address it before anything else. So because the child is innocent, the child has not made any difference. The child is just continuing life. But if the child is getting is the punching bag for you, oh please see how you need to heal. Because the child is already forming impressions about you. The child will not bond with you. So you will have to find out what are your trigger points and those buttons. And slowly you will see that the child will sense those buttons and push those buttons. So that is something you have to be conscious of and educate yourself a lot more on self-management and try to master your own emotions and get a bigger picture of your family. So the family building is key. If that is not there, no other job is more important.
Yeah, absolutely right, ma'am. Absolutely right. And especially right now, we have the time to do that since everybody is doing pretty much work from home and we have ample of time, to be as a family. So to wrap this session, I really wanted like 5 quick things that we can do at this routine, this lockdown new lifestyle that we have formed as a family together to help the kids have good mental health.
Okay. So first is that there is nobody limiting you in spending time with your child. Nobody's saying don't spend time with your child. So you have to spend time with your child. And how you spend your time with your child, you have to educate yourself. Nobody's telling you don't educate yourself. So find time to educate yourself, find time to spend with your child, to celebrate the child's childhood. The third is find your own inner peace and see how you can come to terms with the situation you are in and try to master the situation, because it's not always that you have to be a victim of circumstances. Sometimes you can win over the circumstance. You need to know, you have to look at opportunities within your household. And four is, how much is fear playing a role in your lives? Is fear holding you back from several things? So conquer that fear, because it is not something that we have to be dreading. We have to take optimal caution, but we cannot paralyze our lives. So do things which are safe. Your terrace is open for you. Your garden is open for you. Go around with your children. Have some time where it is not thickly populated malls or beaches. There are several quiet places where you can just go and spend some time. It's very important for you to take time off and be with your children, because they are the greatest therapists on earth. So they will do the best things for you. Give them an opportunity. So that's much I'll say.
Yeah, okay. It was really, really nice hosting you, ma'am. I learned a lot. So when I become mother, I am going to be a pro from the beginning. I can assure you that.
Good
Okay,
wishes.
so thank you for your time. Really, you have taken your time out from your busy schedule and coming into our platform and really helping our people also.
Sure.
For everybody else who is watching this, Vidya ma'am is currently running a program, and we are going to leave the promotional details about the program and how you can reach her, everything in the description box. So please do find her details over there, and it's an excellent Montessori program that she has. So you can contact her directly with the contact details that is provided in the description box. So don't fail to see that. And she also has this awesome Facebook page where you can go and check out her details there also. So thank you for joining us today, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm very happy. God bless all of you, the work you do, and your audience for thriving and becoming better parents by the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.